They met the soul of my deceased best friend. My dear friend's Lily passed away, and I was the only one who could see her soul. She had lost a significant portion of her memory. Whenever I asked her something, she knew nothing about it, only saying that she felt there is still something unfinished. I took her soul to her funeral. Lily complained discontentedly that the funeral was too sorrowful. She said she would rather everyone be happy so that she could leave in peace. As Lily chattered on, I was just about to joke that we could hold another ceremony for her, but her voice suddenly stopped. Her soul was trembling, and she stared wide-eyed in the direction behind me, as if she had seen a terrifying monster. I followed her gaze and saw my boyfriend, Jack. "What's wrong?" I asked Lily in confusion. Jack saw me at that moment too. He walked up to me, put his arm around my shoulder, and with a look of regret on his face, he offered his condolences. I smiled at him and shook my head to show that I was okay. "Who is he?" Lily cowered behind me and mumbled, "He scares me so much." I silently distanced myself from Jack at the same time. I couldn't help but wonder. Lily had lost a large part of her memory, yet she instinctively feared Jack. Had they met before? What was the story between Jack and Lily? Chapter 2. I shook my head. Jack and I got to know each other after Lily's death, and he had never mentioned knowing her. Maybe it was because Jack was a doctor and Lily had been in the hospital for so long that it was just a conditioned reflex thinking of the old Lily. My heart ticked faintly. I looked around but didn't see Ryan. Ryan was Lily's husband. He had been in a relationship for 6 years. Lily had accompanied Ryan from being a penniless man to becoming the CEO of a listed company, which made others envious. However, just when they had finally overcome all the hardships, Lily had a car accident. She became a vegetative state and could no longer stand up. The little sun in our lives had fallen, and her vitality was gradually fading away. "Why isn't Ryan here?" I casually asked Jack. "Ryan drank a lot last night. He was drowning his sorrows and kept muttering Lily's name. Then I went to see him this morning. I found he had a fever and he's been taken to the hospital now." I nodded. Everyone knew how deeply Ryan loved Lily. They glanced back at Lily worriedly, although she didn't remember Ryan now. I saw her frowning, as if she was thinking about something. "I want to see Ryan," Lily suddenly said. Chapter 3. I took Lily to Ryan's hospital room. Ryan's secretary was waiting for me outside the room. I nodded to her as a greeting and then went into the room. Ryan was receiving an IV drip. When he saw me, he didn't react much, just staring fixedly at Lily's photo on the bedside table. Lily floated beside Ryan and looked down at the photo of herself with a bright smile contentedly and said, "I wish this photo could be used as my obituary photo." Ryan sat down by Ryan's bedside. Feeling hesitant, they had loved each other so deeply. Should I tell him that Lily was right beside him? So I thought it over and hinted at him, saying, "Lily really likes this photo. Can it be used as her obituary photo?" Ryan suddenly looked up at me, his eyes bloodshot, his face unshaven, and his complexion extremely pale. "What did you say?" I repeated it and told him that Lily's soul was by his side. Since Ryan and Lily had been so in love, perhaps he could help Lily fulfill her wish. When Ryan realized I was serious, he finally believed me. He accepted it more quickly than I had expected. He looked at me hopefully, as if he had grasped the last straw. His voice trembling, he asked, "Did Lily say anything to me?" I was just about to speak when I saw Lily looking in pain, clutching her left chest tightly. I was startled, ignoring Ryan's question. I asked Lily nervously what was wrong. Lily gritted her teeth and told me hoarsely that she wanted to leave. "Lily isn't feeling well. We'll talk about it next time," I said. And then I tried to take Lily away. "Quiet." Ryan panicked and tried to stop me. Ignoring the IV drip in his hand, he was in tears, repeating, "Lily, I'm sorry. I'm sorry." As a result, he lost his balance due to his anxiety and fell heavily to the ground. Looking at Ryan's affectionate appearance, I felt a twinge of guilt. I had intended to help them be reunited, but the situation was not what I had expected. Just as I was about to help Ryan up, I saw him kneeling on the ground, still repeating his apologies and kowtowing devoutly with tears in his eyes, muttering, "Lily, come back." For a moment, the only sound in the room was the thud of Ryan kowtowing. I was stunned, my hand hovering in the air, not knowing whether to lift it or put it down. Ryan's behavior didn't seem like just an apology to his deceased wife. It seemed more like a deep confession. What was he sorry for? Was he sorry for not being able to save Lily? Or was there something else I didn't know? He should have known it wasn't his fault. Lily beside me covered her chest and said to me, "Let's go, my chest is so stuffy and it hurts so much." Was it because of the subconscious heartache for Ryan? I didn't care about Ryan anymore. I just wanted to quickly take Lily away from this troublesome place. Unexpectedly, an uninvited guest came in. The secretary who had been waiting outside heard the commotion and rushed in when she saw Ryan kneeling on the ground. She let out a cry of surprise and quickly went to check on his condition. She turned to me and loudly demanded to know what I had done. I felt a bit wronged. I had just wanted to convey Lily's message and hadn't really done anything. In fact, it was Ryan who had scared me. However, it did seem like my fault, that he had fallen to the ground after I suddenly mentioned his late wife to him and told him her soul was beside her. I had tried to do something good, but ended up making things worse. Just as I was about to apologize to Secretary Olivia, I inadvertently caught a glimpse of the bracelet on her wrist that was shining brightly in the sunlight. It looked very familiar because Lily had shown it off to me more than once, full of joy. She said it was a bracelet personally designed and supervised by her husband. Even the crystal-clear gemstones inlaid on the bracelet were carefully selected one by Ryan. It sparkled brightly in the sunlight and was extremely beautiful. Lily cherished this bracelet very much and only wore it on important occasions. Usually, she kept it carefully stored. The bracelet was still as beautiful as ever, but the person wearing it was completely different. I narrowed my eyes, and my words were filled with malice. This bracelet, Secretary Olivia. Olivia's hand supporting Ryan froze suddenly, and she instinctively tried to hide the bracelet. Ryan obviously saw the bracelet. He flew into a rage and shook off Olivia's hand. "Why are you still wearing this bracelet?" And he looked in my direction and said excitedly in his defense, "Lily, don't misunderstand. I have nothing to do with her anymore. This bracelet, he stole it. Yes, she stole it." I raised my eyebrows. "Any more? So, they had some relationship before?" Lily clearly thought of the same things he gave Ryan. A look of disgust and motioned for me to leave. When Ryan saw I was about to go, he tried to stop me. Olivia held him back. "What do you mean stolen?" "Senior, calm down. She's not Lily. Lily is already dead." "Shut up." Ryan was furious and slapped Olivia hard, and I took the opportunity to leave the hospital. I guess my husband isn't all that great after all. Why did I ever fall for him? Lily sat in the passenger seat, and looking dejected. After we left the hospital, Lily's chest pain disappeared. "You were really in love with him back then. You were determined to marry no one but him," I teased Lily. Lily was stubborn and persistent. She wouldn't listen to anyone's advice back then. She was determined to follow Ryan in his business venture, and she stuck with him for 6 years. I sighed thinking of that bracelet just now. I was filled with anger. It was obvious that Ryan had a relationship with Olivia. The fact that Olivia called Ryan Sr. indicated that they had known each other for a long time. Ryan's image as a devoted husband in my mind had collapsed. Thinking that everyone around me thought Ryan loved Lily purely, I felt a bit nauseous. Was the thing that Lily hadn't finished yet related to getting revenge on Ryan? I didn't ask the question out loud. Instead, I secretly made up my mind to start with Olivia and clear Lily's name. "Emma, I want to go for a walk." Lily suddenly said while sitting beside me watching TV. "Don't worry, I'll be back soon." Lily had told me before that there was a familiar scent on me that lead her to me. So, I wasn't worried that Lily wouldn't be able to find me. Besides, I happened to have something to take care of myself. "Come back home as soon as you're done walking, Dawn. Go too far," I told Lily after making sure she had gone out. I sent a message to the person on the other end to tell them the meeting place. Lily was afraid of the dark, so I left the light on for her before I went out. When I got home, I called out for Lily twice. Usually she would come to greet me when I got home, but this time she didn't show up. And my heart skipped a beat, and a strong sense of foreboding washed over me. I rushed inside. There were ailments pasted all over the sofa, the table, the cabinets, and the culprit behind all this was my boyfriend, Jack. "You're back. What are you standing there for? I specially cooked some barley porridge for you. Haze it while it's still warm," Jack said. The barley porridge on the table gave off a faint fragrance. Jack looked at me with concern and smiled at me, but I felt icy cold all over, as if I had been plunged into an ice cave and couldn't move. "What did you do to her?" I finally found my voice. Thinking of Lily's situation, I was shaking all over. "What?" Jack asked me with a smile. When he met my cold gaze, he finally became serious and looked at me with concern. "Emma, are you feeling unwell? I know Lily's passing hit you hard, but you're imagining Lily's soul and even lied to Ryan, which has made him a bit delirious now." Jack reached out to touch my forehead with concern, but I slapped his hand away, sensing my resistance. Jack looked at me darkly, then he reminded me again. "Lily is dead. Jack, you think I'm crazy for seeing Lily, don't you?" I glared at him furiously and pointed at his nose. "Then what are you doing with all these talismans? What are you so about? Even if Lily really did come back, what does it have to do with you?" I'm just really worried about you. I heard that when a dead person comes back, it means they had an unfulfilled obsession in life. I was afraid it would affect your health. Lily is dead, and you know that. So, why are you getting angry at me? I just wanted to ward off evil spirits." My emotions exploded when I heard Jack mention warding off evil spirits. "Jack, Lily wasn't just a friend to me, she was more like family. You knew how I felt after Lily died. How can you talk about warding off evil spirits now? Even if it was just a soul, it was something that the living yearned for day and night. A fate that was left unfulfilled. A blessing that was unattainable." When I first learned that Lily had died in a car accident, I was more in disbelief than just sad. I couldn't believe that Lily, who had been smiling and celebrating my birthday with me the day before, giving me a handmade, ugly little cake and preparing a surprise party for me, was now gone forever. 2 days passed like this. When I got angry at work and picked up my phone to complain to Lily, I suddenly realized that the person who used to listen to me was no longer there. On my way home, I saw some delicate little desserts being sold on the street and instinctively bought 2 portions. Only after I bought them did I realize what I had done. When I got home, I ate both portions of the little cakes by myself. As a result, I found that one of the portions contained pineapple. I'm allergic to pineapple, and soon red spots appeared on my body, and it itched terribly. The ambulance arrived in time, and the neighbors all poked their heads out to see what was going on. Lily lived across the door from me, and we often visited each other. Whenever there was any commotion in my house, she would poke her head out to see if I was okay. But this time, no matter how long I waited, that little head that used to care about me didn't appear. When I realized that I would never see Lily again, I couldn't control my emotions anymore. I buried my face in my hands and cried hysterically. My sobs were heartrending. The doctor in the ambulance was startled by me. He thought I was in so much pain because of the allergic reaction, and rushed me to the hospital. I really would never see Lily again. I would never receive that ugly but heartfelt birthday cake from her again. I would never be able to complain to her about those terrible things and There would never be anyone to accompany me to eat little desserts and carefully check if there was pineapple in them. The person who had always cared about me was gone. When I woke up again, my mother was by my side. She worriedly chided me for not taking care of myself. While asking me if I felt better, she got up and pressed the call button to ask the doctor to come and check on me. The doctor examined me and said there was nothing serious. I just needed to stay in the hospital for 2 more days for observation and be careful with my allergens next time. My mother finally relaxed. Her phone kept ringing, and there were constant messages. My mother couldn't stay with me all the time. She was very busy and already had her own family. I told her to go ahead and that I was much better. She asked me if I would be okay on my own, and I nodded. My mother stroked my head and left to answer the phone. I was alone again when I met Jack. Jack was my attending doctor. He noticed that I was in low spirits and had no one by my side, so he paid more attention to me after I was discharged from the hospital. He got my contact information on the pretext of wanting to know how I was doing afterward. After that, he often counseled me, knowing that I was gloomy because of my friend's death. He accompanied me silently and helped me get through that painful and difficult time. When he learned that I liked eating desserts, he would go to my favorite dessert shop every day to choose some, carefully avoiding those with pineapple, and bring them to me every day. When I had problems at work, he would listen attentively and patiently help me revise my plans. Finally, on my birthday, when I looked at the handmade cake he made for me, I tearfully agreed to Jack's confession. Just then, I saw Lily. Even though she was a soul at first, I was startled, thinking I was hallucinating because of my longing for her. She seemed to have been wandering for a long time and was in a state of confusion. I stared at her intently, afraid that she would disappear if I blinked. When she saw that I could see her, her eyes lit up, and she said happily, "Pretty sister, do we know each other? I'm so glad to see you." She was just as lively and cheerful as before, like a little thing. Lily's funeral was postponed until a year later. At first, Ryan didn't want to admit Lily's death. Finally, under the strong request of Lily's family, he handed over Lily's ashes. They thought he was a bit hypocritical. He wasn't the only one who was in pain. His possessive and seemingly affectionate behavior is both disgusting and perverted. But when Lily was alive, he really treated her well, so everyone tacitly agreed not to talk about this matter. Looking at the talismans pasted everywhere, I couldn't stop shaking. I was so scared. I was afraid that Lily would suddenly leave me again. Once again, she would be gone. I still hadn't fulfilled her wish, and I was the only one who could see her. How lonely she must be all by herself. Jack tried to comfort me, but I drove him out hysterically. I tore off those talismans like a madwoman. After tearing them off, I squatted on the ground and cried bitterly. After a while, I managed to calm down a bit. Suddenly, I saw the barley porridge on the table. I became a bit more lucid and finally came to my senses. Jack was acting very strangely. He wasn't the kind of person to be superstitious. Moreover, he knew very well what Lily meant to me. It wasn't like him to paste talismans in my house without discussing it with me. And this barley porridge, all these signs of caution, made me feel something was wrong. He was hiding something from me. He was avoiding the appearance of Lily, and combined with Lily's previous instinctive fear of Jack, all of this was very eerie. There must be something between them that I didn't know about. I had previously hired a private detective. I asked him to investigate and follow Ryan and to inform me at once if there was any sign of trouble. I was suspicious of the relationship between Ryan and Olivia. Their relationship was rather delicate, whether it was that senior blurted out by Olivia or the valuable bracelet. It all highlighted that their relationship was no ordinary one. The private detective told me that they went to and from work at the company as usual, and everything seemed normal. However, every Thursday, they would go to the same private cinema one after the other. Their outfits were also rather peculiar. Ryan would dress all in black, wear a mask, and look in a hurry. as if he was desperately afraid of being recognized. On the other hand, Olivia would dress up dazzlingly, not like she was going to watch a movie, but rather like she was attending an event, as if she wanted everyone to notice her. According to the surveillance footage, they entered the same screening room. Sometimes they would stay for an hour or two, and sometimes they would stay the whole night. When they left, they would walk out, one in front and the other behind. That bracelet was similar to Lily's, yet there seemed to be some differences. But since that day, Olivia no longer showed off that bracelet easily. However, this didn't stump me. I managed to find the handicraft studio where Ryan had the bracelet made all those years ago. I bribed one of the staff members, and he told me that Ryan had directly brought in the design drawings and asked the studio to rush the production of the bracelet. In fact, 2 such bracelets were made. The only difference between them was the color of the gemstones inlaid in the middle, while the rest was made strictly according to the design drawings. I had suspected it back then. Ryan seemed to know nothing about design. How could he have designed such a dazzling and exquisite bracelet? Perhaps it wasn't his work at all, but rather a reflection of Lily's passion. Lily had a high talent for design. She once told me that her dream back then was to become a designer. However, later on, her love for Ryan took over her heart. Then she gave up her enthusiasm for design. She wholeheartedly supported Ryan in starting his business and became his devoted wife. She accompanied Ryan to live in a rented apartment of just over 20 square meters and carefully planned nutritious meals for him. But all she got in return was a bracelet that she had designed herself. Yet, it wasn't unique. Perhaps this marriage wasn't as wonderful and pure as it seemed to others, for a long time already. But Lily didn't want to ruin the facade of it. And in the end, she got lost in the cage of love. I asked the private detective to continue investigating the 2 of them, looking for any clues, whether it was before or after Lily's marriage. They stared into the emptiness, imagining that Lily would appear again and look at me in surprise. But there was no sign of her. Lily, where had you gone? The joy of getting something back after losing, it was equal to the pain of losing it again. Just then, Jack asked to meet me. I initially wanted to post on it, but when I heard his humble pleading on the other end of the phone, I felt a twinge of pity, thinking that I still had something to ask him. I agreed. Are you still angry? I was just really worried about you last time, Jack said. I lowered my eyes and shook my head. Jack, why on earth are you so against Lily? Do you know her? Jack's body stiffened immediately, then he forced a smile which looked very fake. Emma, what are you talking about? How could I know your friend? I felt annoyed. Jack was hiding something from me, and I was sure he was lying.